What is going on, guys? Skopez here with Skopez Design, and today we're going to be going over some Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud basics. These are just going to be the bare bones of Adobe Photoshop, so you can start getting in Adobe Photoshop and messing around a little bit and hit the ground running. There will be some more advanced tutorials coming after this basic tutorial later down the road, but for now we're just going to stick with the basics and then we'll move out from there. So starting first, I'm going to cover how to create a new document. So you're going to go to File, New, and then you got up here at the top, you can enter your own title name. I'm going to call mine Photoshop Basics, or Photoshop Creative Cloud Basics Tutorial. And under that you can select the document type and width and height. We're going to go with 1920 pixels by 1080. As you can see on the side, you can also select inches, millimeters, and stuff like that. We're going to go with a 72 pixel per inch resolution. You can also save that as a preset if you'd like, but this is what we're going to work with, so I'm going to click OK. Now that we have our document created, let's import a picture. So click on File, Open, and then select the picture you want to import. And we're going to go down to the layers. We're going to right click on that layer. We're going to duplicate that layer and select the document we want to duplicate this layer to, which in our case would be Photoshop Creative Cloud Basics Tutorial. And for the sake of keeping everything organized, we're going to go ahead and rename that to AVI-Profile Picture, because that's what this is. Now that we have our picture imported and renamed, we're going to go ahead and select the movement tool up here in the top left hand corner, and we're going to grab the bottom right hand corner, and as you can see, this picture is not maintaining aspect ratio. To do that, all we're going to do is hold down Shift, and that's going to snap to the right aspect ratio size. We're going to check bicubic and select the check mark, and that's going to keep this size, and then we're going to move it to the top left hand corner. Today we're only going to briefly mess with the Shapes tool, and we're going to be using the rectangle tool, which is all the way up at the top, and we're going to make a quick, just nice looking rectangle up here across the top, and I think right about there looks good. We're going to close the properties because we're not going to mess with this one, and we're just going to center it right along with the other picture with the smart guides, and there we go. And we're also going to make a square, so grab that rectangle tool again, and we're going to hold Shift this time, and this is going to make a perfect square, and we're going to drop that somewhere along there. And we're going to click on the fill this time, and we're going to change it to a light blue color, and let's kind of center this off to the side too. And we're going to use the smart guides once again. As you can see, these purple lines, and these are going to make sure everything is lined up perfectly. Now we're going to mess with some text, so click on the T on the left hand side of the screen, and you're just going to drag this out. This is going to be the area that you're going to be putting the text within, and I'm just going to type in text number 1. And I'm going to resize this because this isn't quite the size I want it to be. So I'm going to highlight all the text, and I'm going to change it from 150 points to 200 so the text shows up a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to click on the check mark up at top. Next thing we're going to do is create a gradient. So first things first, we're going to create a new layer. We're going to name that layer gradient so we don't forget. We're going to drag that below the other layers so the gradient doesn't cover up these other layers that we have already created. We're going to select the gradient tool on the left hand side of the screen, and then we're going to make sure that gradient layer is selected, and then we're going to pull the gradient from the bottom all the way up to the top so it covers it nice and even. And make sure you hold Shift, because then it will make it a direct straight line so you don't have any differences in the levels of it. Next thing we're going to be covering are styles, and these are different styles that can be applied to text, shapes, pictures, and everything of that sort. You're going to find this on the right hand side. It's going to have its own tab if you're using the default workspace, and under here you'll be able to find different layer styles and just different styles in general. And if you can see, once you click on them, they apply that style to that selected layer, and it can change anything from the color of the layer to a different gradient over the layer and drop shadow, inner glow, and all these cool things. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to select this blue one, and we're also going to apply a layer style to the text. When working in digital media, a lot of the times it's better to work with a higher resolution and file size and then downsample that to whatever you need later. That way there's not a loss of quality. So a big helpful tool within Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud is the option of resizing an image. So to do that, first you want to click on the Image tab up top, and then click on Image Size underneath, and then under here you can recalculate the resolution in a different format or even in the same aspect ratio, and then output this to a different file size. That way your files stay at a smaller resolution and smaller file size, and it doesn't take up as much space. Now that you have created your file, it's time to save it. Click File, Save As, and now you can save it as a Photoshop document, so you can come back and edit this file at any point in time. And also you can save it as another file type such as a JPEG or PNG, so it can be used in other applications. Thank you so much for watching the first episode of my Photoshop tutorials. This has been the basic tutorial. Leave a thumbs up if you guys like this video. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, and the more advanced tutorials will be coming out soon. Just let me know what you guys are interested in learning how to do in Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.